why did you decide, after all the previous hospitalizations, not to hospitalize him when he was clearly beginning to when he was stopping breathing?
Yeah.
Why
It was
then?
because before it was something that um, could be managed. If you do an x-ray and there's fluid on the lungs, specifically, I remember it's on one side, not both. It made me think it was less of a systemic process and more of a infection or virus that he could not fight on his own. So he said, if there's an infection or a virus and he can't fight it on his own, and this being his intubation will give him a chance to recuperate from that, then we can move forward. When it's disease progression, the forward doesn't look the same. And we had that discussion between my husband and I imagine that he agreed with me or he was just happy to not be leading the discussion. So either way, it worked out that we would not be able to be selfish and keep him for us, because that was a thought I did have. And I had asked them, happy to see the hospitalists that have seen us before. And I would ask his nurses too, Jackson is in there, right? Like, you see what I see. How much am I projecting? Because I don't know how to not see every little nuance. And I don't understand if things change. It might not be as obvious to me. And they, whether truthful or not, they definitely said, no, we see Jackson. I can tell there's different grunts. I can tell he cuts his eyes at me. I understand that he understands where he is right now in a certain way. Okay. Then another hospitalist, we had talked about how infants don't do well when they're intubated and on a vent. They have a hard time with infection. And I said, it was the systems. If his mind is still intact, is intact in the way that it is, because it's neurological and that myelin sheath is being deteriorated all the time, okay? And there's nothing to stopping those enzymes to keep them in place from not withering away. If his mind is intact and he needs help to breathe, we're going to help him breathe. But if his brain is not able to even recognize the signal, not just help getting it through, not just a poor connection, putting his lungs through that amount of things, I'm not sure if that makes good sense and not be selfish. I'm not going to let him suffer. If he's struggling to breathe, we're going to give him something to make him comfortable and then make sure he doesn't struggle. I'm not going to make him struggle. I will say that last time when they said that we told him we wanted to take him home because I didn't want to intubate him because there was nothing that looked like it could be cured. If it's disease progression, we know we cannot cure that.